What's good, everybody? It's your gearhead, Mr. Logic, and as you know, it's your host. I'm doing my thing. Today, we're a little bit weird. I have a beautiful guest with me today. And you know what I'm saying? Let me properly introduce her. Her name is Kiki. Tell them about yourself, love.
Hey, what's up, everybody? My name is Kiki. I'm Cuban. I'm 26 years old. I've been living here in Miami for like a year and something. I grew up in Italy, so I have like a mixture of culture there.
Okay.
I love the United States, though. I really love it. I think it's the land of the opportunities, how they call it.
Okay. So you basically been in you recently came from the US from Italy. So you were born and raised in
Yes.
Italy, but your
Yes.
nationality is Cuban.
Yes.
Okay. For you guys to understand, like that's a little bit wild to me because again, yo, our peoples is everywhere. You know, like being Haitian, we're all over the globe. Cubans all over the globe.
Yeah.
But Italy will probably be like the last place that I think you would find somebody. But my bad. Let me do this again and do the proper introduction. I'm a little bit disorganized today. As you know, yo, basically, this is one thing for sure, two things for certain, yo. Let's get it. So, as you know, I know you watched the show previously. We talk about
Yes.
tradition, talk about, how our day went. But to go circle back about you from Italy, came to Miami. How do you like Miami?
I love it. I
Really?
really love it. Yeah. I
What
love everything about it.
what's your favorite part of it?
I would say that you can meet people
Mhm.
from every single like corner of the world.
It's like a
That's
melting pot nation.
yes.
Yeah, that's Miami. Like if
Yeah.
you want to get Cuban food, you can get Cuban food. You want to get Jamaican food, you can get
Whatever.
Jamaican food.
Yes.
All right. So when you came to US, where did you check in first? If I'm gonna stay, you said Vegas, right? When we talked earlier,
Vegas, yeah.
Vegas. So Vegas versus Miami, pros and cons. What would it be?
Vegas is a wild
Mm-hmm.
place to live. For a vacation, I think is the perfect place.
Mm-hmm.
If you wanna go and spend like a week or something, you can even be there for like a month. But once you know everything, like once you know the strip,
Mm-hmm.
like all the hotels, casinos, blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. It's over.
So it's like a short Disney trip.
It is. It is. The
Okay.
education over there is horrible. I think
Really?
in like the top, yeah, it's like
Uh,
the number 50 or something like that in the United States.
See, now that kind of messes me up because for my viewers to know, I've been looking at Vegas possibly to move over there. Just to give you guys a heads up, the reason Nate's not in, Nate couldn't make it today. Lewis is down and out. So, as you know, the show must carry on. And I'm thankful to have my guest Kiki here today. Thank you for coming in today.
Sure,
Honestly,
pleasure.
I appreciate that. No, I mean, when you talk about Vegas, I get what you're saying. I like Vegas because the mountains is right there. And the person who rides motorcycles, I love the roads you guys have because
Okay.
it's like no destination now. As far as like
Yeah.
the entertainment side, I'm a house party type person, like barbecue, house party. But when it comes to like nightlife entertainment,
Yeah.
I'm
No.
good off that.
Okay.
What about you?
I think like I'm like a mixture.
A mixture?
Like
So
I'm in between.
when you were in Vegas, one of the things, because we just recently came back there, we went to Vegas back in February. They said the love life out there is horrible. Would you agree?
100%. 150%.
You're gonna have to break down why. I'm curious to know why.
I don't know. There's actually a video on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
It says something like top 10 reasons why you should not move to Vegas.
Really?
And that's one of the reasons. Cuz the people over there are kind of like cold. Like they're not interested in like no people. Like I don't know. It's something weird.
So
something
they're not
weird.
like they're not welcoming, would you say?
They're not, yeah.
I mean, when we were out there, it was me, Bert, and Lewis. I understood that in the sense of the dude who was talking to us on the taxi cab, he was like, yeah, because, especially for a male, like if you're not balling out there, you're not catching nothing. But I also feel like it's the same way over here, because Miami, if you think about it, Miami is like the new Sin City, per se. We have our
Yes.
casinos, and literally the nightlife here is what Vegas used to be decades ago. So it kind of goes hand in hand. But I feel like Vegas is a dope place if you want to basically get away from everybody. So much, not so much to like go party
I
or for a
agree.
city to
I
live.
agree.
Like if you're, an old person like
Yeah.
myself who goes to bed like at 8:30, you're good to go.
What do you think about the heat, though?
Well, the heat in Vegas, to me, to be honest, I don't mind it because it's dry heat. Over here, it's moist as hell, yo. You step outside, Vegas is like a blow dry in your face. Here, it's like some hot breath. Like it just makes you sticky, and you're like, hells to the nah. So
Yeah,
that's just my input.
that's true.
I mean, okay. So as we follow tradition, how's your week been so far?
My week is great. It's been great. I went to school. By the way, I'm going to Miami Media School. Shout out to my people there.
Okay.
Went to school, went to work, usual stuff, but great.
I mean, so you're into art and broadcasting.
Yes.
Is that something you always wanted to do?
Always.
Always.
Since I remember, since I was little.
Man, that's a crazy field because that's something that takes a lot of structure and a lot of discipline. I know that you're into music and you record and you are an artist yourself.
Yeah.
How'd you get into that?
Since I was little, I used to like look at my cousins and like family members that are in the industry.
Okay.
Singers, dancers, all kinds of artists, and I was like, that's what I want to do.
Okay.
Like I've always felt attracted to it.
So yeah, Checo's like living in Vegas is wild, but if you built for it, fuck it. I agree with you, G.
That's
like
true.
I strongly agree with you. And the reason why it's not for the weak. It's not for the weak. Cause listen, when I'm out there, it's like my mindset is completely different. We're not trying to, ball out. We're trying to just escape. But at the same time, like I love Fremont. That's my location to go to. But at
And
the
that's
same
a
time,
wild place.
it is. It is. Like, listen, I don't seen some stuff, yo. I don't seen some stuff where
Me too.
I seen, a man get taken advantage of in the bathroom stall, yo. Like, hey, listen, that shit had me on my toes, yo. I was like, nope, yeah, I'm not doing that. But nonetheless, I feel like with you basically coming over here to Miami, do you feel like Miami has the best opportunities for you than any other city?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Even better than California? Because, people go to California to be an actor or singer.
Yeah, like Hollywood and all that stuff. I think even though California is like the number one in that, it's kind of like harder to like make it over there because there's a lot of people.
So,
maybe here in Miami is.
I feel like Miami's better on networking.
Yeah,
definitely. I mean, there's something different. With that being said, what is it that you're trying to master, or what are your hope and dreams being in this city?
My open dreams. Be on television.
Okay.
Yeah. I want to create my own podcast. I want to talk about music, my news, bring it to every single family that maybe they're bilingual and there's a lot of people that they don't know how to speak one language or the other. And I want to be that person that brings to their home all that information that they like.
Okay.
News and all that stuff.
I definitely feel that. That's definitely something dope, because to be well informed and diverse in so many fields, especially in the entertainment world, I think is important. That way everyone's up to date, especially with all the distractions going on right now. So being that you're into music and media, how do you feel about the current situation with like music right now? When it comes to Kendrick Lamar and Drake.
Oh boy, I think that's crazy. There's different opinions. Like people that like Drake, people that like Kendrick, but I think that Drake completely lost it this time.
Well, in my opinion, listen, that boy pedophile. I'm just gonna be 100. Listen,
that's dope.
You are the rebranded R. Kelly. I'm sorry, I call it how I see it. As I go deeper into it, I try not to get distracted by it too much. But at the same time, boy, you ain't got no business texting no 16-year-olds. We the same age, bro. And a matter of fact, you in a different tax bracket. I think that whole, like, it's funny how we circle back because you killed your own career. You know, a lot of people don't understand in this industry, it's not all smiley faces. It is sharks.
It is.
You know, and the quote goes, if you hang around people that didn't cut you, you end up bleeding on the ones who try to be there for you. And I feel like that's what's going on in the industry because we only get one side of it, but at the same time, there's a bigger picture that we're not seeing because, again, we're not behind those closed doors.
Yeah.
Now, as far as Kendrick goes, it's not that Kendrick whooped his ass that I'm going with him. It's just, to me, Kendrick actually comes from that struggle. You get what I'm saying? Versus if you want to basically talk about like who's a better artist performance-wise, yeah, Drake got to hand down.
Yeah, completely.
But if you want to talk about originality, you cannot even put Drake in that category just simply because the man uses ghostwriters. There's a saying in the music world, you got people who clock in and people who create. Drake is a person who clocks in. Kendrick is a person who creates.
Wow.
And I know some of y'all might feel like I'm biased towards that, but until you educate me, you're going to have to prove me wrong. But the reason why I want to go into the direction of music, you're a woman. How old are you, if you don't mind me asking, love?
26.
You're 26. Jesus, I am freaking old. Holy mo. You're 26?
Yeah.
Shit.
How old are you?
Yo, I'm 37. I'm not old.
You're not old.
I feel old though. Okay, like yo, if I fart, yo, my back basically gets blown out. That's it. I'm out of commission. But I feel like an important issue because you're 26, right? I know that you hear the recent allegations towards Diddy's behavior. Before we pop up the video and I show it to you, what so far from everything that you heard, how do you feel about that situation?
That's insane. That's insane. And it's pretty sad because I know there were a lot of people that used to look at him as a role model, I would say. And it's crazy. It's crazy to see everything that's happening, how everything's coming out.
Facts. The truth comes to light. It's like Cat Williams called it right on the money. In case y'all don't remember, this man sat down with Shannon Sharp and said 2024 is the year of truth. And let me tell you something. If you guys ain't peeping game like a bookie, shit is getting weird. It's getting weird to such a degree that
so weird.
It's almost unsettling. Mind you, we're regular people, but it catches our attention because it shows us no matter what tax bracket you're in, no matter what career, people are still going to go through some shit.
Of course.
And, if anything, it's more deplorable because you would think somebody of that status would know how to act and behave. So it's almost, crazy.
And it's all the opposite.
So I'm going to play a video for y'all. I want y'all to see this. And let's see.
Look at that face.
That man, listen, we gonna look. That's a face of defeat.
Yes.
That's a fate of a coward, bro. Like that. Listen, I call it how I sees it. Let's hear what he had to say.
So difficult to reflect on the darkest time in your life. Sometimes you gotta do that. I was fucked up. I hit rock bottom. I make no excuses. My behavior in that video is inexcusable. I take full responsibility for my actions in that video. I'm disgusted. I was disgusted when I did it. I'm disgusted now. When I sought out professional help, I had to go into therapy, go into rehab. I had to ask God for his mercy and grace. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, you full of shit.
Look at that comment. Are you just sorry because the world saw it? If you're sorry, publicly offer her an
Yeah.
Like,
well, so what let me see if you know how to read body language, because I just peeped something in that video. Let me know if you guys saw that shit. Let me know in the comments. Did you just peep did you see what had just happened in that video?
Yeah, he can even look at the camera straight. Like, he's looking down the whole time. looking like to the side.
So you obviously saw the video of how he stomped this girl out and threw a vase at her,
Yeah,
and
unfortunately.
horrific. As a woman who's 26 years old, especially with your background, you obviously have moved city to city. How does that make you feel when you hear that and you see that?
Sad. So sad. I feel sorry. You know, you don't want nobody to go through that, especially when you're a woman.
Well, there's going to be, I know it sounds jacked up, and mind you, in no way, shape, and form am I advocating or supporting these people, but there's going to be people like, well, she signed up for that, da 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 da. And this is where it's a crazy situation, and I'll explain it to you guys. When you're watching that video, you're saying that you're going to go get help. Okay, you're full of shit. And the reason I say you're full of shit, this is somebody you were with for X amount of years. Imagine what you did to those women that were nothing to you.
Exactly.
You get what I'm saying? Now it's like when you peep the allegations, it's like, this is nothing new. This man's been like this. You get what I'm saying? So then it makes you question like Kim Porter's death. It makes you question Heavy D's death. Like, this man is already going in for the murder of Tupac because they have evidence that he basically participated in that. And if one of the things that makes it very eerie, the video he put when he was dressed as a Joker, his whole demeanor, it's like, yo, you really feel like you're untouchable. And the truth of the matter is, I don't even think Diddy's the problem. I feel like the problem is, and I'll tell you guys, is the hotel staff. That video's from 2016?
2016, yeah.
And now it's showing up. So it's like whoever aided him or accepted hush-hush money to get rid of that evidence, you're worse than him. You know what I'm saying?
I
Don't
agree
get
with
me
you.
wrong. Like, again, he's a piece of shit, but the person who could actually turn a blind eye and pass that off, knowing what happened and not stand up and deliver, you're the worst type of piece of shit. And personally, you deserve a beating worse than a fat man's heart, just like he does.
Yep.
A lot of people are now saying, oh, he should be on suicide watch. Well, a coward will only take himself out. You know, it's more like, to bring God's name in it, you're a coward. Don't bring God's name in it. You're not sorry. You know what I'm saying? And the reason I say you're not sorry, you settled out of court. You know what I'm saying? You know what it was about. And the fact that you didn't raise up as a man and to address it like a man, and you only came out because there's evidence now, you had no intentions of speaking on it.
At all.
So, like, this is where that whole question comes in, where I see, and I'm not agreeing with women on this one, where they say, oh, I'd rather take the bear over the man in the woods. I asked you that question earlier. You said you rather choose a man to be in the woods with than a bear. Can you explain why that is?
do. Yeah, only because the bear is a beast. No matter how you look at, like the way you look at it, it's a beast. The man, you can always talk to him. There's always communication. I think that's the most important thing that needs to, like, you know, that two people can have. So that way things can go through smoothly. And for sure, I'll choose the man. No
Every
matter
single
what.
time.
Yeah.
Why do you think so many women out there are saying they choose the bear?
Probably because they've been through a lot of shit.
Okay. Because, like, you know, obviously you have girl talk, we have guy talk. Would it be safe to say, I think the thing is, like, women naturally support each other. So they'll take other people's experiences and basically live it as if it was their own experience. I feel like that has a lot to do with it. Would you agree with that? Or
Yeah, I do agree.
Okay, so how do we fix that? What do you think steps need to be taken into place in order to fix a situation like that? Like, how do we basically come and find common ground? What do you think would need to happen?
They definitely have trust issues. Because if you went through some stuff with people, you lose trust. And if you lose trust,
you ain't got shit.
It's always hard to get it back.
Agreed. I mean, again, some people, so not to double back, is just like, you see someone like Diddy, right? If you notice now, every celebrity that was protecting him has recanted what their statement was, like, oh, I was talking about the media. And it's kind of hard to believe that, because y'all the same ones who went to this freak off parties. Y'all the one who's seen behind closed doors. We're not we're not stupid here.
Exactly.
You know,
Yeah.
It's crazy. Like you basically getting into this field, I'm pretty sure you probably heard some crazy stories. In the world of entertainment, it's no holds bar. You know,
It's fucked up.
It's definitely one of those things where you have to look at it, analyze it. I feel like what's gonna happen continuance right now is everything is out on the open. And like right now, I don't know if y'all know, Kim Kardashian's involved. Not Kim, her mom. Her mom's involved because she's done so much business with this guy. You have it in a situation where now you're looking at fellow artists who left the label, and now we didn't understand why. You know, Mace has been saying it for years. Like, yo, this man is a killer. Like, he's psychotic.
Yep.
And now we're seeing firsthand. Like, for anybody who's ever dealt with a narcissistic person, that's the display of it. You know, like that's a perfect example of it. Let me know what you guys think in the chat, man, because this is one of those things. Like, how does somebody heal from that? Imagine how traumatizing it has to be. This person has enough money to hold you hostage. You know, it's not so much of the actions alone. It's the fact that the resources that he has, he's a powerful individual. You know, for years, who was believing Cassie on this? Because when the lawsuit first came out, they're like, oh, she's going for a money grab. But now we're looking at old videos. We're noticing bruises on her face. And again, look at the age difference on top of that. This dude is, and then look at his son. His son just got caught in a sexual allegation himself. You know, I believe that the fruit that comes from, you know, the poisonous fruit that comes from a tree makes all the other fruits bad. Yeah. You know, I hate to say, you know, they say, oh, one apple doesn't spoil a bunch. In this case, I call bullshit. You know, this is the problem, man. There's no accountability. Accountability is what I call people's kryptonite. You know, it's really jacked up. It's really messed up. In your case, you know, how do you think a person should deal with it? Like, how do you reach out for help? How do you think that would basically play out?
That's interesting. Because I think the thing is that you probably feel that nobody's gonna believe you.
Facts.
And that's why most of the women that go through that, they don't talk to anybody because they're like, oh no, they're not gonna believe me. What about if I go, like, you know, to the police or something, like to search for help? And it's really it's crazy. It's sad because you never know.
I mean, you'll have individuals say, pray for that individual, pray for that guy. And I firmly believe in prayer. It's just, this is a person, he just, like, I'm still thinking about that video. That video is extremely disturbing, bro. Like, you did this in broad daylight. You did this in the hallway. Like, you did this in a manner, this wasn't the first time.
Yeah, you know? He didn't even care. What about if there were people in the hallway or like coming out of the elevator? Like, he probably was on drugs or something.
Probably. I mean, it's just jacked up, because then you look at all the other stuff. Like, now they're coming at Jay-Z. Now they're coming at all these other hip hop artists. And it's like, it makes you take a notation, you know. I don't know if you heard regarding Rihanna. She's talking about Jay basically forced himself on her in her career, you know.
No, I didn't
so
hear about that.
Like, when that stuff starts coming to light, you're just like, damn, man, like, how dirty is the game? Is it really worth your soul? Because that's literally what it is. If you if you think about it, person sold their soul to this person because it's like you're their property. There's no way you can get out. And how do you basically rebuild? Like, Cassie's husband put out a couple statements calling out Diddy. And just for y'all to understand, the reason why that's crazy is this person's money is long enough to have something done to you.
Oh, literally.
You know, and we've seen it before with the shooting. You know, he had his own boy Shine take the charge. And what's crazy is how society turns a blind eye, because the lady who was affected in that situation told the police it was him. It wasn't the other person. And they still didn't, listen. So now it's like, how do you fix that? How do you go about that? Were they born this way? Did they basically come across the success like that? And that's where I have a question for, because it's like, okay, You don't do this overnight. So where did it start? Who did it start with? You know, and you start looking at these other artists, and you're just like, yo, this shit is unreal. It's simply unreal. Who are some of your favorite artists, just out of curiosity?
One that has to do with everything that's going on with him, Justin Bieber.
You like Justin Bieber?
Yeah.
Okay. So perfect example. That's another dude I felt like they sacrificed him, because if you watch how he was growing up as a celebrity, this man had grown ass women when he was a minor touching on him, trying to kiss him.
Yes.
You know, like it's crazy.
It's crazy.
And it's
mind blowing.
But do you feel like it wouldn't get as much attention because he's a male versus a female?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
So
100%.
Why do you think that is, though? Why do you think it's more acceptable for a guy versus a woman?
Maybe because if you do it to a guy, it's kind of like, oh, it's fine. It's completely fine because it's a guy. You know, they're used to it. They like it. So nothing's going to happen.
Okay. So when you say they like it, break that down. Because I get what you're saying. But like, in what case, like so you think because it's a male, it's acceptable? Because I feel like society, that's where we're kind of jacked up. Like, regardless of sex, wrong is wrong. It doesn't matter how you put it.
Yeah.
It's just, yeah, it's one of those things that it bothers me to a degree where I'm just like, yo, this shit can't get any worse. And then now the suicide watch is what has me interested about it, because it's like, do you think he would honestly take his life instead of deal with his convictions? Okay, that's what everyone said. Oh, you got to watch him, because his bodyguards are now saying he's the type to take himself out because his whole dynasty is ruined.
Could be.
20.
I have the feeling that he's that type.
Yeah.
Like a coward.
Well, a coward would only do something like that, personally. But you guys let us know what you guys think. So with that being said, we're going to get into Am I the Asshole story. So I'm going to read you a story, and I want to get your input on this.
Okay.
Let us know how you guys feel in the chat as well. Okay. So, am I the asshole for refusing to let my stepson's dog inside? My marriage is falling apart because of this. This should be interesting.
What?
My wife and I have been married for approximately 3 years. We have both previously been married before to other people. My first marriage was 21 years. Hers was about 9. We got married after dating for about 1 year. She had a 16-year-old son with her. I had a daughter of about the same age that split time with myself and her mother. Anyhow, my new wife and her son moved in, and she asked if he could have a dog. I have 2 small dogs with me at the time that I had owned for several years. I assumed he would be getting a smaller breed dog, considering we had small house with a small yard and 2 small dogs. Boy, was I in for a surprise. He goes out and gets a dog that is 3 weeks old, already towers over my 2 dogs. The dog is nothing but hell. He chews up everything and everything he can get in his mouth. I had a sound system with my clip speakers, and he destroys them. He ate a chunk out of my coffee table and chewed up my $700 rug. It just never ended. I was very upset by the end of all this, even more upset when I caught her son setting his phone up to record me when he left the house, to make sure I wasn't mean as hell to the hound. He would also take it upon himself to review all the footage on the outdoor security system. My wife never says shit to him about any of it. I finally had enough and told him that the dog is no longer allowed in the house. He gets pissed and moves out and has rarely spoken to me since. He shows up to the house to visit his mom, but makes sure to bring the dogs. He went out and got another dog of the same breed as well, and tells his mom he won't come inside because the dogs are not allowed inside. Granted, I did not make the concession that while he was over, the dog should not stay in the backyard. Not good enough, apparently, as he has refuses to do that. Now, after years of arguing about this, it has driven me insane. I yelled at my wife, and now that is framed as a reason for our difficulties. She's getting ready to move out as I type this. What the fuck? So his relationship ended.
Wow.
What is your mindset on that?
Wow, that's crazy for a dog.
Well, it's apparently a dog that was adopted, a bigger breed than his two. They basically been together for a hot minute. Both were previously married. They both have kids around the same age, but the son seems to be doing it in spite. What do you think about that situation?
That's a pretty good situation that most people go through it. Um, could be that the son didn't like him and he didn't like on purpose.
You think there's resentment there?
Probably.
I mean, as the son is 16, so they say, right?
A
So
teenager.
how does a 16-year-old move out too? Like that's another question.
Yeah.
There's a lot of loopholes in it. I think I can't say he's the asshole in the sense of like, yo, you're partially to blame, you're partially not to blame because you never specified what type of dog he can get. However, it seems like there's an underlying issue because there's definitely more going on because that just doesn't happen overnight. To chew up the table, to basically damage the speakers. How is the relationship between you and the son?
Exactly. Going back to what I was saying earlier, communication.
Mhm.
If it looks like it was something like that was going on already, and if they probably say it to him, like, oh, listen, like, I don't like whatever is going on right now. I don't like the idea of you having a dog here, blah, blah, blah. You know, I didn't want it that.
Mhm.
But if the son kept doing it and he kept the dog there,
Recording him as well.
yeah, 2 + 2.
I mean, what questions me? Where's the mom?
That's
Like
another thing.
the mom's not supporting the husband because then I would honestly imagine the mom has to support the husband. You guys have a union to save, and even though yes, it's 16 years old, you have a dog that's not behaving correctly or the owner's not enforcing that behavior.
Yeah.
You know, and sometimes dogs ruin things that's things are not replaceable. I just find it weird now that the woman is leaving out. It makes me question: was their relationship ever solid
What about if there were issues already and that was like a good excuse?
to bail out?
Yeah.
I mean, those stories are kind of crazy, man. Because it's like one thing they always say, "Oh, don't get with someone who has a kid. Don't be a nickel looking for a dime." But you have two people who basically bring the same excessive baggage to the table, in a small house with two other dogs, and the dog that's not behaving. But it seems like it was a jab at the man because now she's on her way out over a dog, or is it over the son not doing what they're supposed to do?
Yeah.
It
That's
makes
a good question.
It makes me question a lot of that shit.
Yeah.
I mean, what would you do in that situation if you were in it?
If I was him,
Mm-hmm.
first of all, talk to him, to the boy. Like, not only once, but like a couple times. Like, listen, son, da da da. Like, I don't like this. That could get me in trouble with your mom. Blah blah blah. I mean, if we're a family, there's gotta be connection. There's gotta be like effort in both sides. And then after talking to the son, I'll go to her and be like, listen, this is going on between me and him.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to do your part, because she's the mom.
So you would basically investigate. You would
Yeah.
fight for it. I just feel like situations like that when you have a person that you're in a union with, especially bringing with kids, I feel like there has to be a clear understanding on his part. The fact that you didn't specify, you didn't talk and give direction on what type of dog you can get or set any ground rules. If you have expectations, you never basically get satisfied. You only be disappointed. That's why you got, a baby that doesn't cry doesn't get fed.
Yep.
You have to honestly speak on it. You have to figure out what it is that you want out of it. I feel like the loss in translation is why shit is so jacked up. And unfortunately, it cost him his actual
divorce. Or whatever.
It's shit,
it sucks.
I think, and that's the thing, that makes what people make scared of relationships, where one little straw like that could break the camel's back. Because then it's like, were you guys ever in love? Were you guys ever in a union if it was so easy for you to walk away?
That's my point. That means that the bond was not that strong.
What do you think is the most important thing about relationships? Like, what are some of the key features to you in a relationship that you feel need to be valued in order for it to be sustained and last?
First of all, respect
Okay.
towards the other person that you're with.
Mhm.
I feel like if you don't respect the person, it's like
It's out the window.
There's completely.
Okay. So we have respect.
Yeah, communication again.
Mhm.
Empathy.
Empathy.
Because there's a lot of people that, like, for example, if you and me like work together and you have your own story, you know, you went through a lot of shit, and me too, we need to like communicate that, you know, like
Find
don't
common ground.
exactly, like don't let or don't blame that person for whatever happened to you. If it happened, it happened. You're
Okay.
starting a new relationship. It has to be from zero, from scratch.
Okay.
Let me see what else. So respect,
And
communication, empathy. I said empathy. Love, of course.
Now, when you say love, define love.
Define love. Wow.
Yeah, I put it on blast, bro. I had to. I want to know, what is love to you?
To me, love is everything.
Okay.
Love is the main source, like the reason this world keeps going. Love is like for me, unconditional love is like when you love somebody no matter how they are, no matter what they do, unconditionally, like always be there.
When you say unconditional, right? Okay. So you say unconditional love.
Yes.
Who do you feel is easier to reach that point first, a male or a woman, and why?
Unconditional love?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
The reason, if I may give you a backstory on why I say that, right? So
go ahead.
A man has to create his own worth, right?
Yes.
We know this. Meaning a woman could be working at Burger King. I could give two shits. I'll still wipe that up. I could be working at Burger King. She's like, hell to the nah. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, unconditionally means no conditions. Like regardless of what that person's done, regardless of how that person, you're going to love them.
Yeah.
So we had this conversation plenty of times on our other episodes where I said, women, I'm not saying women are incapable of loving unconditionally, but when it comes to their partner, it always seems to be conditional, because if it wasn't conditional, that person wouldn't be with that person, in the sense of women naturally select somebody who wants something going for themselves, who has some type of momentum behind them and whatnot. Yeah, because if that was the case, you would see a homeless person with the baddest woman. We don't see that. So I'm not, again, I'm not, you know, I'm not trying to play devil's advocate. I'm actually curious. So where does like you being a woman, 26 years old, have you ever been in love unconditionally?
Yes.
Okay. Can you shed light on that?
I think nowadays what you were talking about is 50-50. Okay. Because men look for it too. Yeah. They're like, okay, I want this type of woman with whatever, this type of career, you know. I want her to look like that certain way. And it's 50-50.
50-50.
What about like people that fall in love through internet?
I think that's, listen, Linda, honey, listen. When you talk about people through internet, I don't believe that shit. Listen, Linda, honey, listen.
But it happens. I've seen it.
I've seen it too, but it's also on some serial killer vibe. Like the reason why, like these dating apps, I've been on them, they don't work. You can't just pick unless you got something wrong with you. It's like picking a chick or a dude out of a vending machine. Like, you know what? I'll take this one. And
that's a good point.
It's like, yo, that's not how life works, bro. Like, you have to engage. Like, I got to know who you are. Yeah. Like, you could be wanting to wear my skin after that first night. I don't know. So it's like, yo, it doesn't work that way. You honestly have to get to know the person, right?
Yes.
So with that being said, in today's culture, especially in Miami, there's such a big facade of like, oh, I'm a bad bitch or da-da-da. I got OF and dudes like, I'm a hustler, I'm a scammer. Nobody wants the 9-to-5 dude. Trust me, I know. They don't. They don't want the 9-to-5 guy.
Nobody.
Why do you think that is?
That nobody wants the 9-to-5?
Yeah, like what women in Miami, you've been here for a couple of years. You see the topic, you see the temperature here. Why do you think so many women choose to opt out from getting with the blue collar worker, the 9-to-5 guy?
Because it's easier.
So you think they don't go for him because he's easier?
Yeah.
So you're saying that
they don't like the sacrifice that it takes.
Okay, so you think it takes more of a sacrifice to be with a 9-to-5er versus a hustler or a scammer?
Yeah.
How does that work essentially? Like what? Like, I know you're not talking about you directly. We're talking in general here. Why do you think why things are the way they are?
I don't know. I've always wondered the same.
Like when it comes to you, what are some of the requirements you would like a guy to have in order for you to take him serious?
That's a good question. Stable.
Stable in what sense? Mentally, physically, financially?
The whole...
Across the board?
Yes.
Okay. But do you feel... Okay, so there's a saying, if you're broke, you shouldn't be dating. Do you agree with that?
Kind of, yeah.
Kind of? Okay.
Yeah.
Do you feel it applies to women too? Like if a woman's broke, she shouldn't be dating either?
No.
No? Okay. Hey, listen. Now I gotta hear this shit. So why? Okay. And again, I'm not taking shots at you. I'm just curious because I gotta know. This is shit I deal with, y'all. 37 years old. How is it that it's acceptable for a woman not to be where she is financially, but she can still date? But if a man ain't financially, like, nah, yo, go kick rocks, yo, go get your life together. You gotta go. Why do you think that stigma is accepted in today's society?
Because since the world is the world, the man has always been the provider.
Okay. Now, if the man is a provider, you heard that saying, behind every great man is a strong woman, right?
Yes.
So if you're saying you want a partnership, and wouldn't that mean you would basically be with him at the worst of times to enjoy the best of times and vice versa?
Yeah.
Okay. So how does it correlate to basically saying that a woman who's not financially straight should be able to date, but a man who's not financially stable shouldn't be?
I think it's harder for a man. It's harder for a woman to like get a man into, track than vice versa.
I can understand that. But at the same time, if you hear a lot of women say, especially when they work on themselves, they lose weight, he didn't want me at my worst, so he don't deserve me at my best.
Yeah.
So make that make sense. Because it's like, yo, you didn't want me when I was ashy looking like a crackhead, but now that I'm rolling right, why should I even give you the time of day?
Why should I even give you a chance?
If we're talking 50-50, it's not about fairness, it's about equality. So there's especially here in this city, I don't care. I'm going to be honest. Half of you heifers, nah. And by your logic, y'all should not be dating. Y'all shouldn't even be coming out the house. Okay? Like straight up. Like y'all sit your ass down. So make that make sense. I'm curious to how the mind of a woman works. You're 26. You're honestly young, but obviously you have experience. You've been around, from Vegas to Italy to the United States. So you actually seen difference in culture, not just in tax bracket and location, like full-blown different cultures, especially in Italy. Do they worry about the same thing in Italy when it comes to dating and finances, or you think it's different over there versus here?
It's different.
Okay, in what way?
Like over there, it's more like old school.
Old school?
In that sense.
Okay.
That we're talking about?
So let me get this straight. I got a text message coming in. It's because of what most men look for is looks, and what most women look for is stability.
I agree.
Okay, so
I agree.
That's why. Okay, so they say that's why men lie, right? And women lie too with the makeup. You know what I'm saying? Women fall in love with what they hear. Men fall in love with what they see. So with that being said, right, you can't have one without the other. I listen. I'm not being judgmental. Okay, I'm just being straight up. It messes me up because I hear so many dudes like, yeah, man, you shouldn't fuck with a shorty unless you got your money right. Then how you know you fucking with a real one?
Exactly.
Because like, yo, if I'm down and out and you still mess with me, at least I know you're there because you're there for the right reason.
Yeah.
But also it could be a double-edged knife because I hope you're there for me, not because of my potential. Because I see a lot of shorties end up in that situation where they're with a dude because of his potential. And when that potential's not met, there's such a disdain and anger towards that person.
Yeah.
But for us men, we don't give a fuck what y'all do. You know what I'm saying? Because that whole saying, what's yours is yours and what mine is yours. Happy wife, happy life. It's a messed up saying, but it's the truth. Now, you being Cuban descent, I know in the Cuban household, the father is, the helm.
Mm-hmm.
Do you would you consider yourself modern or traditional?
Modern.
Modern.
Yes.
I should have known with the answer. Just saying, I should have known. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, right? But would you ever go for the traditional guy?
Why not?
But if they're traditional, would you be okay telling a man telling you what to wear?
Oh, no. No.
Oh, shit. Okay. Explain that one to me. What? Okay. So if you're with a guy and obviously you want to go out and you wear some revealing clothes and he's like, yeah, I don't feel comfortable with you wearing that.
Or like going out with my friends
by
myself.
So if he's like, yeah, I don't want you going out tonight, it's going to be a problem.
That's going to be a problem.
Why?
Because if it tells me that, if it was the opposite, I would let him.
Okay. You know how the world treats you different because you're a woman? The world treats us different because we're men. What about if it's like I see something that you don't? My experiences in the world is different from yours. I'm not saying it to control you, but I'm saying it in order of protection. Would you receive it that same way?
Kind of, yeah.
But would you accept the terms and conditions? Meaning, if I'm willing to put my life on the line for you, right? That means if some shit goes down, I'm dealing with it. If fucking Yogi the Bear wants to come out, it's me who got to go fight that bastard, right?
Yeah.
So doesn't that warrant the exchange of being like, yeah, I know I should be able to have at least a say, not control, but a say.
At least a say. Oh, yeah.
And would you compromise on that say?
Not sure.
Not sure. Okay.
I think it all depends on like the way you say it, how you mean it.
So you're more focused on the delivery of it.
Yes.
Okay. So the delivery. I mean, I can get that. I mean, listen, again, been around, dealt with a lot of shit. I get it. But I think like myself, I consider myself traditional. Like I'm not like these red people, oh, you gonna do as I say. Nah, fuck that. You want to fuck around and find out? Go ahead. But I'm not gonna be here. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
but why?
Simply because it's an insult to injury. If I'm with you, right, and I'm giving you a command, it's not because my interest is selfish. It's in your best interest. Just like if you give me a command, I have to receive that. You know what I'm saying? Like if you be like, yo, you look like a thug, tighten up, I'm going to listen. You know what I'm saying? Because your partner should have your best interest at heart. And if you truly follow and believe in that person, you are going to compromise. And I feel like that's something that lacks in today's relationship.
Facts.
Because it's like, oh, you're trying to control me. And it's like, ain't nobody trying to control you. You got free will. You're going to do whatever the hell you want to do at the end of the day. If I try to impose on that, that's when that makes me a narcissistic person. And I'm a horrible person for that. But at the same time, if I'm basically being, hey, yo, like this is what's going on, where does the objection come from? You know what I'm saying? Because are you dating your friends or are you dating your man? You know what I'm saying? And I think that's where it makes it hard, especially in your generations, to separate the two. Your friends, ain't part of the relationship. I don't know if you get down like that. I don't personally. Hell no, I don't share my cookies. But at the same time, what does that mean to you?
Yeah.
So,
but I think trust has to do with that as well.
Okay, so let's just say, trust that I'm not going to do anything behind your back. Trust that I'm going to be respectful. Trust that I'm going to, be there and do what I need to do for you. They're just saying, women in the modern world treat their boss like their man and their man like their boss. And the reason why I say that is your boss tells you to do something. He's like, yes, sir. Like, you ain't giving no question, no lip. But if your man at home tells you to do something, like, nah, fuck you, do it yourself. Where does that come from? Like, why is it wired that way? What do you think is causing that? I mean, you're 26 years old. You're out here. I don't go outside unless it's to get the melon shit. But
I think it has to do with the progress that women have, like everything nowadays, like women being independent, like completely independent.
Okay, when you say women being independent, right? What is a woman's independence? Like, what is that? In your opinion?
You as a woman being able to provide for yourself.
Okay.
Without needing someone else.
Okay. To most of us guys, I'm gonna be 100. That's called being an adult. Like that's where I'm gonna be real with you. Like, that's called being an adult. Okay. You get what I'm saying? So it's like you don't get brownie points for being an adult. Like, help me understand. I'm not trying to be the asshole, but it's like anytime I go out and I'm like, yeah, I'm independent. I pay my own car. I pay my own. That's what you're supposed to do. Like, that's what you're supposed to do. How do you want brownie? Like, that's like saying.
But it wasn't like that.
It wasn't. You're right. But it's like, if we're going to talk about equality, imagine if we went around and be like, I pay my own car. I pay my own rent. I take out my own trash. Y'all looking at us like, and you're a man. Fuck you mean? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But when there's women, it's like, now, my opinion, what an independent woman is, right? An independent woman, in my opinion, I'm not a woman. This is just my experience.
Your opinion.
An independent woman is not someone who pays their own bills. It's not someone who is being an adult. An independent woman is someone who has free will and understands that their decisions, they're willing to own their decisions. They're not looking for no handouts. They're not looking for like, oh shit, I fucked up, come save me. No, an independent woman recognizes that she can make bad choices and she owns those choices. Yes. The independent woman is one that's choosing to heal. An independent woman is one who's willing to play her position in order to get what she wants out of life. Play your position in life. And I feel like that's where the big confusion is, because it's like anytime you hear women say, oh, well, there's a patriarchy of unbalancedness. I'm like, well, how many male CEOs are there? And then the rebuttal is going to be like, how many female bricklayers are there? How many female roofers are there? And the sewage man, you get what I'm saying? You can't pick and choose your battles. It's just, in my opinion, the independent woman is one who has free will, but honestly knows how to play her position, understands what her value is, her true value, her being in her femininity, knowing when she needs to be masculine, because there's times, especially in my traditional mindset is, my partner has to be stronger than me. If she's raising my kids, I got to make her stronger than me. So that's where, a lot of times people get mistranslated, because it's like, just because you're the male, it doesn't mean what I says goes, but you believe in me. You know what I'm saying? Just like I believe in you. Trust me to lead, and I'll take you where we want to be, not only where we got to be. Would you agree to that?
I agree 100%.
Okay.
It's like how people say, be with someone that you're proud of.
For us men, it says, be the man you would want your daughter to be with. Straight the fuck up. That one too. So,
yep.
With that being said, we got to basically close out, guys. It's been an honor. Thank you, Kiki. Let them know where they can find you at.
Thank you for the opportunity. I had a nice time. It was fun. You guys can find me Clayda_Martinez on Instagram and same on TikTok.
Okay. And as you know, it is your gearhead, Mr. Logic himself. And I am basically located at Logic142 on Instagram. You can also find me on One Thing for Sure, Two Things for Certain on the webcast. You know what I'm saying? Make sure if this is your first time, you hit that like and subscribe button. We got more guests coming along the way. And definitely would love to have you come back on again. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
This has definitely been a dope trip. Fucked up situations. Like, I ain't gonna front, you kind of mess with my head a little bit. But for the most part, I understand. And as you know, this is One Thing for Sure, Two Things for Certain.
Things for certain. Whew. How's that?
Good. I'm trying to close out. There we go.